Blog Talk Radio.
And a six-string revolver, and you're listening to my good friend Justin Ray Harvey on J-Ray Radio.
This is Gordon Ricusa, author of Shidoshi, The Four Ways of the Corpse, and The Five Principles of Everything. Getting my facts straight from Justin Ray Harvey.
This is Stan Bush. I sing Fight to Survive in the movie Bloodsport. You're listening to Justin Ray Harvey.
Hi, this is Tony Luke Jr., a.k.a. Joey the Nail Nardone, and you're listening to Justin Ray Harvey.
Hey everyone, it's Rick Reiser from Today's Hit Music 103 CIR in Beckley, West Virginia. You're listening to my boy Justin Ray Harvey on J-Ray Radio.
Hi, I'm Tony Luke Jr., also known as Joey the Nail. Please follow my friend Justin Ray Harvey on Facebook, Twitter, and Skype. His tag is @JustinHarvey. He's a great guy. I follow him, and I know you'll enjoy following him too.
Hi, this is Peter Mahoney, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer at Nuance Communications. I'm also known as the Dragon Dictator. You're listening to Justin Ray Harvey.
To reach Justin Harvey's studio line, please call 818-532-9762.
Hi, this is Raven Kane, the co-founder of Pain, Progressive Action, Immediate Neutralization, and the singer-songwriter for the new record called Six String Revolver. You're listening to my good friend Justin Ray Harvey. He's a fellow martial artist and a good man. And if you even consider turning the show off, I'll come through this internet connection and choke your ass out.
Yes, we are live on J-Ray Radio. I am your host, Justin Ray Harvey. And folks, I hope that you are ready to talk Dragon, because that will be our subject for this evening's topic. And without further ado, let me bring on our special guest, Senior Vice President of Nuance, legendary Peter Mahoney. Hello, Peter.
Hey, Justin.
There, my friend.
I sure am.
Hi
It's
there.
great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you. I wanted to say a special thank you for the intro that you made and the time that you've taken out of your enormous busy schedule just to be on my show. So.
Well, absolutely. This is you kidding with your following with this great show and listening to those promos. It's obvious that this is the place to be, and I'm thrilled to be a guest on this very impressive show you run here, Justin.
Thank you, Peter. And I got to say that I've been wanting to talk to you for many years. That you are actually one of my heroes, Peter. So this is like a dream coming true for me to have you on this show. So.
Well, great. It's very nice of you to say, and I'm excited to be here. Love to talk Dragon.
So, oh yeah, definitely. And I guess I would like to start with okay, I've used Dragon for several years. I started out with Dragon 10. Now that I've moved to a Mac, I'm on Dragon Dictation 3, which is the newer release that y'all have made. I guess where I want to start is, why did you make two different applications, and how did Dragon Dictation come about, and what's its history?
Well, it's a great question. It's kind of a long story, so let me try and give you the short one, and you can ask follow-up questions if you're interested. But Dragon, naturally speaking, has been around for a long time. It's been around for since I think 1997. was the first time that we shipped Dragon Naturally Speaking. And at the time, it was actually provided by a different company. The company was called Dragon Systems. That company ended up getting sold to a Belgian company called Lernout and Houseby, and then that company went bankrupt. When that company went bankrupt, Nuance, at the time we were known as a different company, but Nuance acquired the assets of Lernout and Houseby, including Dragon, and we've been advancing the product since then. That's since about the year 2000. So now we're going on about 13 years of working with Dragon, and we've invested hundreds of millions of dollars into the development of this software. And what happened was, at the time, we always had a Windows version of the product, and we didn't make a Mac version because for a long time the market for Macs just wasn't big enough to justify the investment because it's really expensive to build a product like this. It turned out that there was a small company called MacSpeech that made a Mac product. They had a product called iListen, and it used a different speech engine that wasn't working that well for them. So we licensed our technology to that company, MacSpeech, back probably about 5, 6 years ago now, and they built an application on top of it. Then I turned around and bought that company. So we bought the company MacSpeech. They had a completely different app on top of it because it was built to work on the Mac versus a Windows app. So as a native Mac app, it just worked a lot differently. And then we've evolved it and tried to get it closer and closer to Dragon Naturally Speaking, but they'll always be different just because the operating systems are so different.
Yeah, and I guess what you're trying to say is the challenge to get the two exactly identical is by near impossible.
Well, it's certainly, if you think about it, the Mac OS just behaves a lot differently from Windows, and so certainly some of the commands that you do and some of the ways that you navigate around the operating system are just different. But what we've tried to do is get a lot of the capabilities, a lot of the core commands, and get those to be as close as possible to the Windows version of the software. The other thing to keep in mind is that we spent about a decade working on new features and new capabilities of the Windows product before the Mac one became available. So it takes time to develop those things and move the features over, and so it'll get closer and closer over time, but I don't think they'll ever be completely identical. But one of the advantages of using your voice, of course, is that you should be able to use your voice in a way that really is independent from the way things look on the screen. So eventually we're going to get a lot closer between the two products.
Oh yeah, and I got to say that Dragon Dictate, I use it 100% of the time when I'm on the computer, folks. It's like if I didn't have Dragon, I would be sitting here typing with one finger for several hours, and it's just it really would be agonizing to me. And if I'm thinking correctly, Peter, when y'all first developed the product, weren't your target audience disabled people at first?
Well, if you look at it, it's changed over the years, Justin. And in the beginning, the first users of Dragon were people who had disabilities. The original developers built the first version. And in fact, the first version, I don't know if you knew this, you needed a separate computer. So you actually needed two computers to run Dragon. And back then, and this was in the late 90s, not only did you need two computers, but the software alone cost $10,000. So it really was very, very limited in its availability to the people who needed it the most, because it was very specialized, and they had to, the people who originally developed it had to get their money back for hiring all those people to develop the software. And what's really helped move it along is making it a more mainstream product, so the next set of people that used it were really doctors and lawyers, and those were the people who typed the most or who had to create as much text as possible, but they also were used to doing dictation because that's just the way that they work. And then over the years, we've expanded and broadened it to more and more audiences, and we've tried to continue to add features that support the assistive community as much as possible, because they're, of course, the people who are the first users of Dragon.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah, I'm just curious, Peter. While I have you on here, where would you like to see Dragon in the next, let's say, for example, the next 10 years?
Well, I think there are a few things that we always focus on, and then there's some new things. So we always want to make it more accurate, and it's really, really accurate now, as you know, Justin, but we can always make it better, and we continue to work on that. We also want to make it as easy for people to use and as forgiving as possible. So one of the most powerful capabilities of Dragon, of course, is the ability to navigate your entire computer with your voice. So, of course, most people know that you can talk and it can do your typing for you, but the ability to actually completely control your computer with your voice is a really powerful concept. And that's still a little bit too hard in my mind. So we work pretty hard to make it easier and easier. And in fact, some of the work that we're focused on is leveraging something we call natural language processing, which is the ability for software to understand the meaning behind what you say. And if we understand the meaning of what you say, then we can be much more flexible around the kinds of commands and things you ask for. So it can be more like a personal assistant than like something that needs just very specific commands. So those are some of the things that we think are really important to make this the full power of the technology available to more and more people.
Wow, and I understand you guys are wrapping your hands into everything. Like, for example, speech recognition Dragon is going to be available in cars and vehicles and all this stuff. I mean, did you guys really expect this product to really take off like it has?
Well, we've been pretty pleased by it. It's been our plan, of course, for a long time. And I'm not sure how many people know, Justin, but we started out on computers because they have pretty high-end processors, and they're capable of handling a lot of the complex computations that are required for speech recognition to happen. And as more of these consumer electronics have gotten more and more powerful, we could put this technology in more places. But the big thing that made such a huge difference was when we took Dragon and put it in the cloud and made it a cloud capability, because that's what allows us to take mobile phones and things that might have slower processors, as an example, and allow them to have all the features and all the capability that you might have on a powerful computer. And since we've done that, you now see Dragon not only on your PC and your Mac, on smartphones, on tablets, on book readers, and in cars, and even in televisions. And so all these different applications, and you'll see it in pretty much any kind of consumer electronics, anything that's connected to the cloud, you'll be able to talk to over time.
Wow. And I've actually seen comments on Facebook and Twitter that people love the Dragon Dictation iPhone app that's free. And I think it's for the Android too, correct?
Yeah, there's a version on Android that's really cool called Dragon Mobile Assistant, and it's different from Dragon Dictation. We came up with Dragon Dictation, and I think if I remember correctly, it was about 2009 that we came out with Dragon Dictation. Might have been a little earlier. I'll have to look back at my records. And that was a very basic capability. It allowed you to take, at the time, it was an iPhone app that allowed you to dictate into your iPhone and convert it to text. And people saw that and thought it was magic because you couldn't do that on a smartphone before we brought Dragon there. And of course, these days, iPhones are pretty smart and have lots of capabilities, including the Siri application. Of course, it's available on new iPhones, so you can do an awful lot with that. In the Android world, though, they didn't quite have the same kind of capability. We built an app called Dragon Mobile Assistant that allows you to get really that kind of personal assistant capability with your voice on an Android device. And it's really smart. In fact, one of my favorite things about it is it's got something we call a wake-up word. That means you don't even have to touch your device. So you can just have it sitting there, and all you got to do is say, "Hey, Dragon," and it will beep and say, "How can I help you?" And you can do everything from send a text or post to Facebook to search for something, and even have it tell you what's on your calendar coming up. So it's a really powerful thing, and one of the reasons I like it is not only is it handy for people who may be driving and don't want to take their hands off the wheel, but for the assistive technology audience, it allows people, including people who have no use of no ability at all, can actually access some of this really powerful capability.
Wow, I would actually like to see like Dragon Dictation, the desktop version, kind of do like an automated voice, and you can say, "Dragon, tell me a joke," and
That's right. Well, we're working on that. Believe it or not, you'll see that kind of capability in the future on PCs and Macs. More capability like that.
Wow, and like, I also had a suggestion for you guys as well.
Sure.
I know that you guys have people reading, like, to train it, like, for 5 minutes or what have you, but there are some people out there that cannot read and talk in a natural voice. So what I thought would be cool as a cool feature is, like, have Dragon physically ask you questions, and then you simply just respond, and as you respond, it's training to your voice.
Well, that's a great idea. I think that makes a lot of sense. And, one of the things that we did, Justin, I think it was in Dragon 11, we added the ability for it to do what we call special training. So what that does is, instead of showing up and having all the words show up on the screen to do your training, and it's about 4 or 5 minutes of reading you have to do, you can basically just read as much as you can, as whatever pace you can, as many pauses that you want, and it'll be really forgiving, and just take any audio that you have and it will train itself based on that. But I think your idea is even better, because what that does is the problem with the way we do it today is that, especially some people have difficulty either reading because they might have low vision, or they need too much help. And this way, that people could do it, I think, a lot more independently. So I really like your idea, and I'll feed that into the product designers.
Yeah, because I've thought about it for years, because I'm actually legally blind, and I can read and stuff, but to have to read and then speak it's more challenging for me as a person. And when you train it, you want to be as natural as possible. And I thought, hey, why not answer questions from Dragon, like an interactive type thing, like
Yep, I think that's a great idea.
So yeah. Also, I was reading some comments on Facebook and Twitter. I've seen that a lot of people love the Dragon Dictation app, but they're like, will we ever get a full-blown version of Dragon Dictation, like the program on the iPad itself, or would that be too difficult to do, or it's, application?
Well, here's the difference. The difference is that if think iOS, which is the operating system that Apple has developed for iPads and iPhones, isn't really as accessible and open to third-party programs as things like Windows and even the Mac OS is. So it isn't as a developer, all the capabilities we need are not available to us. And Apple does that for a reason, of course. They want to make sure that the operating system is really secure, which it is, and not susceptible to viruses, et cetera. And they want to make sure that they get a really great positive user experience. So part of the trade-off is that it's just a little bit more restrictive as a developer what you can do. So at this point we can't do it. So we don't know what's going to happen with iOS in the future and whether we'd get more access to the capability. But for today, for the way that iOS works today, we really couldn't do a lot of the things that you can do on the Mac or on Windows at this point.
Wow. And I'd like to say, Peter, that, out of all the companies that I've dealt with in my lifetime, Nuance is the nicest company I've ever had the pleasure of calling or talking to. I mean, you guys are just so pleasant,
Well, that's great to hear. We try really hard. It's a little tricky, of course. We've got millions of people who use our technology, and like any big company, sometimes it's hard to find the right person. But we do try hard, and certainly if there are people who are trying to reach us and have questions, we try our best to answer them. So I'm glad you've had a good experience. But it's something that I personally spend a lot of time on because I know we need to continue to make that better, especially as we get bigger. It's tough to keep up with the demands and all the questions that come in from our customers.
Oh, absolutely, and I got to say, Peter, I'm a fan of your the Ask the Dictator series. Can we expect any new videos in this year, possibly?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was one of my favorite things that I did for a long time. And the whole idea, Justin, was when I talked to our customers, I realized that a lot of people didn't know about some of the capabilities of the product. And I realized that what we do is we give people a whole bunch of documentation, but it's pretty dense. It's a little hard to read. And I personally am not good at reading documentation. I'm just not that kind of person. And I thought if we could make really short videos to show off some of the capability, then maybe some people would learn a little bit more about the product and use it. So we decided to do this series of videos that are really only 1 or 2 minutes long. And I did one a week, and I did it for I think we have over 50 of them now that we've created. We took a little hiatus, but I need to get back on it, and I'll definitely do some more because not only did I think they were really useful, but they were actually really fun to do. I enjoyed doing them.
Yeah, because Peter, they really helped me to learn Dragon Dictation, because to me, even though it's the same program, I found it at first when I had Dragon Dictation. For me, it was a learning curve because where there are different things and different sayings for Dragon Naturally Speaking, it was somewhat of a learning curve for me. But I got over that thanks to your videos. So.
Well, good. Yeah, I know a lot of people, as I said, including me, I really like to consume information that way. I think relatively short video clips are a great way to learn, and we'll definitely do some more because I think it was a great way to do it.
Oh, yeah, and, in this next question, you don't have to answer it, but I have to ask it because I've been wanting to ask it for a long time, but there is a rumor on the Internet that you guys actually had some involvement making Siri.
Well, yeah, that's one that I can't answer. I mean, I have a very specific answer I can give. I can say that we provide some technology for some of the Apple products, but we really can't say more than that. So you can look around the Internet. You can't believe everything you read on the Internet, but certainly people have talked about that a fair amount. But I can't add any more comment than that, Justin.
Oh, that's fine, Peter, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here. I'm just trying to, ask interesting questions, and I just thought that was an interesting, topic, because I was curious about myself. So, but yeah, don't always believe what you see on the internet, folks, because not all of it's true. So, but let's see, where else can we take this? Let me think of a good question here. Oh, how did you first get started with working with Dragon? What inspired you?
Well, that's a great question. It's I'll tell you when I first I'll tell you the first time I got involved with assistive technology was back when I was in college in the 1980s. I worked at Boston College on a thesis project working on some communications technology. It was an input method for people who had limited ability to type, and that really inspired me to look into assistive technology over the time. I stepped away for it for a number of years, but then got back involved in Nuance because a very good friend of mine who I worked with for years worked at Nuance and knew he was looking for someone for a specific job, and he gave me a call and said, "Hey, would you consider working for this company?" And at the time, I guess it was about 2004, I really didn't know anything about Nuance. And it was actually called ScanSoft at the time. And I looked into it and said, wow, this is really an amazing, well-kept secret. I've got to learn more. I was very excited about it, and that's how I got involved. And I've been there since 2004. It's been an amazing place. At the time, we're about 10 times bigger than we were back then, so we've grown a great deal. And it's really been an amazing place to work.
Wow. And one of my last questions before we wrap things up here, because I've got a couple minutes left of the show, but I'm not going to keep you long, Peter, because I know that your schedule is vigorous at times. Where did the name Dragon come from?
Oh, that's a great question. So Dragon was actually originally the name of the company that made Dragon, and the company was called Dragon Systems. And there was a husband and wife. They're the Bakers were their name, and the husband who actually was mostly involved with the technology. He actually worked for IBM for years and was involved in research and speech technology. And he and his wife started the company to build a speech recognition product. And they really, what I hear, because I don't know them, I never got the opportunity to meet them. What I hear is that they were really interested in Chinese art and artifacts, and they liked dragons. So they named the company Dragon Systems. And then what they ended up originally calling the product, they called it Naturally Speaking, because that's what it was supposed to do. So they called it Naturally Speaking. What we ended up doing over the years after we acquired the company is most people knew it as Dragon over the years. So we just said, hey, if they're going to call it Dragon, let's go with the flow and let's call it Dragon. So we've really de-emphasized the specific version name, Naturally Speaking. So if you look at the product, it still says Naturally Speaking for the Windows product, but it's in really small words because most people just know it as Dragon, and we just like the name, and that's why we stuck with it over the years.
Yeah, it's an awesome name actually, because I was curious. I was like, I wonder how they came up with that, because I'm into the Japanese and Chinese cultures, Peter, and martial arts and stuff, and I was like, maybe they got Dragon from that, but I was like, I'm gonna find out, and I gotta say that I want to go ahead and promote something that y'all do pretty much every Friday on Facebook and Twitter. Y'all do free giveaways of Dragon, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great. We love that program. So we really encourage everybody to to like us on Facebook, and you'll find that every Friday we have a Fan Friday giveaway, and we ask usually kind of a simple, usually pretty silly question, and then we pick someone randomly who responded and give away a free copy of Dragon. So it's a great way to encourage a discussion with our customers, and we love to get more and more people using Dragon. So thanks for pointing that out, Justin. I think it's a great way for people to hear about what's going on with Dragon and learn more.
Oh, absolutely, folks, and it's a great birthday present, Christmas gift, graduation gift, or just a gift to say I love you. Dragon's just that great of a gift. It's good for any occasion. So, that's one of the things that makes Dragon so special. So, before I let you go, Peter, is there anything that you would like to promote, or promote your pages and your final thoughts? Or
no, I think you sent folks for our Facebook page, so I appreciate that. No, I just wanted to thank you, Justin. I know you've been a long-time follower and fan of Dragon, and we really appreciate it, and really appreciate you spreading the good word. I know you talk about Dragon a lot. And I'm just thrilled to be part of your show, and thrilled that Dragon can help you in your life.
Oh, absolutely, Peter. And I wanted to tell you, Peter, don't be a stranger, Peter. And if you ever need any type of promoting done, any type of promotion for Dragon or Nuance, let me know, and I'll be happy to plug it on the show.
I appreciate it, Justin.
And thank you for your time, Peter. And I'm sure we'll be talking again in the future.
All right, sounds good. Thanks again. Have a good day.
Thank you. And folks, that was Peter Mahoney. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I know I did. I learned a lot about Dragon that I didn't even know. But I'm going to end tonight's show with a song by my friend Black Hawk Walters. This song is Indian Reservation. Thank you for listening to J-Ray Radio. See you guys again soon.
In 1830, Congress passed the Indian Removal Act. The Seminoles, Creeks, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and the Cherokee were marched to the Indian Territory of Oklahoma. Over 1/4 of our people died on this trail. To my people, it is known as the Trail of Tears. They took the whole Cherokee Nation, put us on this reservation, took away our ways of life, the tomahawk and the bow and knife. Took away our native tongue and taught their English to our young. And all the beads we made by hand are nowadays made in Japan. Cherokee people, Cherokee tribe, so proud to live, so proud to die. They took the whole Cherokee tribe. So proud to live, so proud to die. But maybe someday when they learn, Cherokee Nation will return. Though I wear a shirt and tie, I'm still red man deep inside. I'm still red man